Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold's here, co-founder, Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. I see comments working. Hey ho, waka waka, yo yo, Tesla BS. What do you mean? Aren't you drinking the Kool-Aid, Waka? It was passed out before the earnings report. Hello, options 22. By the way, let me know if my sound is okay. And if I don't respond to anything in a while, put something in the comments. I had to scramble my main streaming computer. Had a major hiccup this afternoon, so I've been scrambling for the last hour and a half just trying to get stuff to where we could stream. So if I seem a little less prepared or like out of touch with what happened in the last hour, besides Tesla earnings, then that's what's going on. Sorry about that, but I thought it was important that I still get on something today for everybody so we could at least have a discussion. If it's not that important, you can just drop off the live stream and don't consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. And longer term viewers, you might as well unsubscribe now because you know what? Who knows? No, I'm just kidding. Please do subscribe. We're still going on that push to, look, even that's off. Boy, I got to fix stuff. Wow. Oh, well, you're going to have to deal with a little gray spot there in the afternoon. Hold on. Where's that coming from now? All right. Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Fixed. Fixed. Sorry. Did not get a chance to fine-tune everything. Let's check both cameras. All right. That one's working. The other one's a little fuzzy. Sorry, I'm still correcting things. Did not get a chance to do a whole trial run. I'm really sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. Normally, I am more prepared. This has been a doozy of the day. By the way, if anybody is wondering, hopefully the washing machine is fixed. They replaced the whole main board and the water sensor. Not like you're really that interested, but since I have talked about it, that's what's going on. I'm just looking through all my settings. Let me see here. That's a little too yucky. All right. There we go. Again, I'm sorry about that. Oh, all right. Thanks for bearing with me. Let's see who's here. Tesla actually came out big loss, not gain. Only reason they are green thanks to a Bitcoin sale at a big loss. Also margin down. Waka, you got to drink the Kool-Aid. You got to drink the Kool-Aid, Waka Waka. All that's important is they beat the number. They beat their revised down number. Hey, John. Hey, Anissa. Hello, Patrick. Again, thank you, everyone. Hello, 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 AP's World. Good evening, Connor. Tesla choking. I haven't taken a look at it in 15 minutes now. I know it was up a little, but we'll have to see. I mean, we still got the conference call, too. Hello, hello, Wavy. Tesla fading. Thanks for the updates, guys. I'm scrambling. If you want the market to move big, either up or down, wait for Tesla earnings BS. All right, I'm crystal clear. Thank you for that feedback. Tesla second quarter revenue 16.9 billion, estimated 16.88. And how did they beat that? Tesla gonna wreck it tomorrow with the cooking of the books. I can't wait till it all unravels and we really get the deep dive. And Zach could get the perp walk. Oh boy! But auditors, don't get me started on auditors in this company. They essentially rubber stamp stuff. Now they're back to rubber stamping. Remember years ago we had the big scandal, the big audit scandal. They're back to rubber stamping everything. Earning adjust. Yeah, I wish we could go. Could we get rid of? And this isn't just a pick on Tesla. Can we get rid of adjusted EPS and just make it mandatory that EPS is just the thing? Because adjusted EPS has become so much crap. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, Bitcoin took a dip probably since that news came out, but it did not close above the channel like I talked about this morning. That's what I was watching for. Hello, hello, hello. The market is not looking back. Well, it might start looking back. Yeah, the report's not too pretty on their service. We're not going to make this all about Tesla, but it's sort of fun. It's correct, rotten to the core. But that's the whole thing. People, you know what? Even the financial journalists don't do any due diligence. Again, I'm not just picking on Tesla. They take these earnings report and they regurgitate it, they rah-rah it. It's turned into one big Kramer fest. And they don't actually look. I remember when financial journalism, whether it be in print or on TV or cable, whatever, used to really dive into stuff and actually used to be able to talk about stuff intelligent. Like they just go, well, this earnings report obviously is juiced beyond stuff, and they used to discuss stuff. I mean, maybe the viewing audience fell asleep during that time. I didn't. I used to love that stuff because that's where you really get into what's going on. Now it's just like, hey, it's just like, you remember Bitcoin started rallying the last couple of days, and for the last few weeks, there's been very little on crap NBC or there's been very little Bitcoin stuff. Bitcoin takes off again just to a little pop to the upside. And then all of a sudden you're bringing out all the Bitcoin people again. It's like it's a show. You might as well watch The View or something. I mean, that's what it's become. It's become like it's I don't even know. You might as well just it's reality TV for stonks. It's a complete and utter joke at this point. And even journalism at this point, besides a few people, it's a complete and utter joke. It's all just pump and dump and all just rah-rah headlines. Let's not really do anything. Let's just get people's emotions fired up. Oh boy, they're going to invest in these stocks and dump these stocks and da-da-da-da-da, but it's everything always goes up. Hey, where is our everything always goes up, boy? Tesla reports fake. Now, where are my Tesla fans on this channel? Did I scare them all away? I've heard that. All right, hold on. I've heard that nat gas in EU is getting worse. Is that good news for UNG? Remember, nat gas in this country and Europe will trade very differently, especially since we've had those nat gas, that plant issue in Houston and the other one in Oklahoma. And especially the one in Houston, we can't get as much nat gas to Europe. Although then we had the issue in Oklahoma and nat gas is rallying. So we'll take a look at that. Let's see. Good evening, Eric. Hey, Chris. I'm glad everybody's here. High thoughts on Twitter stock. I think it's going to be pretty quiet besides what Elon comes out with. I mean, we have the trial set for October, and the chancellery judge who's ruled in the past, her rulings have been very interesting. I literally don't think she's going to let Elon wiggle out at this with just a walkaway fee. There's going to be specific performance issues, whether he's forced to buy the whole thing or whether he's forced to cough up a hell of a lot of money. It's going to get interesting, but hopefully his lawyers have him on a rein and he won't start tweeting about what's going on with that, because other than that, it's just going to roughly trade in a range, I think, until the October trial, unless you get Elon in the mix. If Elon gets in the mix again, then there's no telling. Is there other data coming out tomorrow? Well, I'm glad you asked, John. We have continued before the open, 1 hour before the open, so 7:30 Central Time. Continuous jobless claims, initial jobless claims, so those will be interesting. Remember, write down this number. Continuing jobless claims, 1456K. And I'm not expecting it to hit that tomorrow, but if we get the actual number hit 1456K, it's pretty much based off the percentage from the low continuing jobless claims to that number I just cited. That guarantees a recession. Philadelphia Fed manufacturing, we're going to see if it comes in above zero for expansion again. But the big thing is the employment index and prices paid and business conditions. That's going to be the things that could be potentially market moving tomorrow. Then we have the consumer board leading index, going to see if that contracts. It's expected to contract, and that's a leading index for a bigger rollover. Again, leading. So that could also have minor movement. Here's the stuff. We had the mega caps and the crap. ARK actually triggered a double bottom today. And this is what I'm talking about. If you looked at these stuff with no PE ratios, take a look at a lot of stocks with no PE ratios over the last couple of days. There's short squeezes and everything else is taken off. That's why I call it a mega crap rally. When you get the mega stocks and the crap both rallying, that's not sustainable in my book. All right, but it can keep going longer. Then we got the cycle rollover. Still, this is actually where we're in slight negative gamma territory, and in the combined between the S&P and NASDAQ, we are really close to neutral gamma, if not going to shift into positive gamma. So that's losing its effect, and then we get the dampening moves. Used to be a Tesla fan, then I started watching this channel. What happened, George? What happened? Bitcoin dumping 1% down now. Elon's gonna screw everybody at some point. He got the people with what was that, Dogecoin? Ever since his Saturday Night Live appearance, he said they weren't. Didn't he say they weren't going to sell any Bitcoin? Didn't he say that? I think they said that. I think it was even with the last earnings. They're not going to sell any Bitcoin. Sold 75% of it. It doesn't matter what he says. Just assume the opposite from what he says. He wasn't hodling. They need to raise money. They have a cash issue. I'm sorry I ruined Tesla for you. Tesla dump, and then Apple will save the market once again. Remember, Google again came out and said they're slowing hiring and everything else and doing some hiring freezes. You're getting more and more warning shots from the tech companies. So, just keep an eye on that. By the way, we had Tesla. We've just started talking about that Tesla, and we'll take a look at that chart. I have not had a chance to look at United. That was another one I was going to look at after the close. Those were going to be ones I want to see where it was sitting with airline travel and how they were doing with fuel costs and everything else. If somebody could punch that in at some point. I also wanted to check out for my own personal stuff Discover, because I like to see if charge-offs are going up and how that affects consumer credit, because as that starts edging up, you get closer and closer to a recession. Again, tomorrow I'm going to check morning American Airlines. And the big thing is today, the Tesla could, because it's a mega cap, can still move the market. Things like American Airlines and United will just have minor effects. Hey, Domino's Pizza, or it's not, isn't it just Domino's now? Does anybody know I started delivering pizzas when I was 16. Bought my first car, started delivering pizzas when I was 16. Bought a Chevy Camaro. And started delivering pizzas in that, and worked then when I went through Northwestern Engineering School, worked at Domino's Pizza, until I graduated and went to the trading floors. So I sort of have a spot, 6 good years at Domino's Pizza. Just a little tidbit. No, like anybody cares. Sorry for rambling on. I sometimes just like to chat with everyone here. Hello, Lauren. The president of El Salvador crying in the corner with Michael Saylor. Should we put on our laser eyes? Oh boy. He said that, thank you, on May 17th that Tesla did not sell any Bitcoin. Well, they've sold since then. But there's no telling when. We focused on the record-breaking second half. Oh, geez. Please just give me the Tesla updates. Domino's Pizza sucks. Well, wait. It's not the best pizza, but it was a great job. You can make a lot of money at Domino's Pizza being a good delivery driver, too. At least I did. I could churn out a ton of pizzas in an hour. UAL reports Q2 EPS 143, consensus 194, so they miss. Wow. I care. Well, thank you, Options 22. I was sort of proud of myself for working. I worked 50 to 60 hours a week while I was in college. So I missed a few classes. But I graduated from electrical engineering school at Northwestern, which isn't a halfway bad school. This is just the beginning of Starbucks warns of more store closures and leaked video. I think there's going to be this market shrugging off a lot of bad news, and which is fine, because when we get topping patterns, we get to establish more short positions at a better price. As I said with Bob yesterday, I'd rather, instead of putting down on short positions down here on a breakdown pattern, I'd rather get them on up here. Why? Because you can keep a lot tighter stop. So if you're position sizing, you get to trade with a bigger position when taking the same risk. And then when you get the rollover move, Cowie Blama, you get the really good one. Now, cycles are starting to flatten out. So I'm keeping an eye. This is where, personally, when I see this with daily cycles getting to the top, not yet a rollover. It can take a few days to roll over, but this kind of candle, gets me to start watching for it. Just like, I'm not saying this is going to repeat exactly because we could still get some more upside here. But when I see this kind of candle with potentially topping, that's where I don't count on it. It's not just, oh, sell. But you start moving up the stops in case you start getting the rollover move. See, and again, a toppy candle right here. Now, could we easily push up again and get another candle? You could easily push up still again tomorrow and get another toppy candle. That's why I like to watch, especially for a close. A major topping thing could be a close below today's low. A minor early warning sign is when you keep an eye on the close from the 19th. This breakout candle. Because even if a lot of people will be watching the close below today's low, but if you get a close below yesterday's closing price, that's a pretty reliable signal that at least a shorter term top is in place. So just make note of that, especially when it becomes after a breakout from this horizontal resistance. Let's see. AA beat earnings and that's Alcoa could trigger a decent daily double bottom tomorrow. Weekly cycles turning up. Hey, Christoph, you know what? I'm going to turn over the channel to Christoph. Christoph can start running it. He's doing such a good job. You guys, you know what? You guys and gals, it's sort of my euphemism of just saying guys, but there's guys and gals. We have Anissa here. We have some other female attendees here, which I really appreciate because this is normally technical analysis. A lot of times is dominated by men, and I really appreciate everybody showing up. But look, everyone just is doing too good. You don't need me anymore. You've put me out of a job. I'm free. I have my mornings and afternoons back. I did a good job covering SEC violations during the whole sell 10% stake fiasco. Elon started being very shady. We all start somewhere on trying to get to the top. Love Domino's until they took out the Dominator base and haven't touched them since. You know when I really love, when the Domino's went downhill for me, when they got rid of the Noid. Anybody remember the Noid? If not, Google the Noid. Oh, and I got to drive there. Our store, we had a chain of 5 stores, and we had a go-kart, a Domino's Pizza go-kart. And during the parades around in the different towns, sometimes we got to drive the go-kart in the parades. That was a lot of fun. For the hotel earnings, it's a good idea to play, especially people going on vacations, or wait till next quarter to play it. Again, I just play the setups. If you have a setup, you can play it. If not, this is the earnings seasons when we're in these rollover areas that unless I have a strong setup, I don't play it. It doesn't matter if it's hotels or whatever. Did Biden announce he has cancer? No, Biden announced that he had an oil slick on his skin and he could have had cancer. He's gone senile. Okay, they're just feeding him pills to keep him coherent, and I think his pills wore off early. No, without you, there's no PTP. Well, thank you, Wavy. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Anise. I'm glad. Wait, Christoph, you're not taking over for me? I'll give you the live stream info. And Bob. Still have a Noid around here somewhere? Well, good. That's great, Patrick. The Noid, well, I haven't thought about that one in forever. Yeah. Oh, you know what, guys? You know what we're going to bring in to the live stream again? I'm bringing back this. Hold on, I'll be right back. Look, we're going to debut this. Sorry, I ran out. Sorry. We're going to debut this. Hold on, I got to switch cameras back. But look what I got here. For people who have been around for a while, look at this. Pets.com sock puppet. Pets.com sock puppet. Is anybody remember from the .com? The pets.com sock puppet. There we go. That's going to come shortly. Oh boy. Now we're going to nostalgia. And if you don't know about the pets.com sock puppet, you gotta Google it. You gotta Google it because that was pretty much the top of the .com. I'm just trying to get everybody excited about this and the markets, and let's have some fun. Hey, Ted. Hey, Peace Worlds. No, it's not a shark. It's a doggy sock puppet. Now we're ready for the crash. Again, Google it. Learn about the pets.com sock puppet. It was even on pets.com's commercials. You still got the package? Yes, exactly. That must be worth something more than the company. Well, the company went bankrupt. Yes, please do, because we're going to have some, well, maybe Friday afternoon we should have a talk about the pets.com. All right, is that one in your collection? It might be worth it. It is. It's in the box and everything. And I'll have to show you my stonks. I got a big stonks flag too. I'll have to put that up behind me one day. I got a big stonks flag to commemorate the stonks. Oh boy, you gotta celebrate this stuff if you are in the markets. That's how crazy I am. All right, let's take a look. By the way, a couple little doubles today. Double top. Came down, double bottom, little trigger running up and then fading out, but still impossible play overnight. But this is a bigger topping pattern now. It's really a icky. Well, you can't. Some people are going to try to trade this as a head and shoulders. It's technically not, and this isn't technically a double top because you got that spike up. Was that the Biden spike, Biden cancer spike? I don't even remember anymore. It was a hell of a day, but there'll be enough people trading this as a topping pattern that we start breaking down below these lows of 39.22. We're into the clear path move. The only real sticking point is about 39.05 to 3900. You get below that, we're into a clear path move. So that's what I'm paying attention. Excuse me, that's what I'm paying attention to. If we do march on, again, closing right at that 50 again, if we do march on, still target areas are the same, the 62.5, and this is, we're still in the rollover area. That's what's also intriguing me. I need a close above this 39.90 to keep on the bullish train for a few more days. But still 39.90 and then 40.26. If we did drop below 3,900 area, then it's, let's just take a look. Below 3,900, see, that's where the 4-hour rotation zone is too. I'm running it back down essentially to the end of the clear path. This is the end of the clear path. Right there. And you see it's got some minor significance, but that's the end of it. So I'd really watch between the harmonic in that area, about 38.50 to about 38.38. So that's what I'm paying attention to right now. 4-hour cycles have retraced to the bottom, though, but daily on another move up. So gonna keep an eye. If this level holds and it burns off when we start rotating back up, we might get another push higher. And then that's where I'm really focused on this 38.88, 3900. NASDAQ. We got that spike above the cluster and closing right at it. I'm taking this. I'm actually raising this. That double. Did not have a chance to remove that yet because computer issues. That I had to raise. I raised on my trading computer and we couldn't get through there. But still the next targets are 12,560, then 12,610. By the way, we're into this really toppy area and you see spikes up. You have the breakdown zone here and you have the spikes. Let me mark that off. That's why it's important you put all these tools together as you learn them. So you see this harmonic right here. I sort of blocked it with the black line, but see this harmonic, and then you come over here. This is why I like to just teach people. You see this breakdown area, I could fine tune it a little. The major breakdown area is there. The minor breakdown area is here, but that gives us a breakdown window. And the bottom one last came in with this harmonic. So what would I pay more attention to with the top one? I go to this significant level right here. There's a significant level right in here. And that lines up with the other harmonic. So 12,560. Then above 12,560, you have a ton of stopping points, so I'd update the harmonics. Now on a pullback, again, just trying to teach you some stuff so you can start practicing on your own, because that's what's important here, to learn how to do this. Should Mike get taken out by a sock puppet or a Domino's Pizza go-kart, you still know some tools to utilize. Pullback levels, I'm going to 12,336 to 12,350. Below there, my major then is about 12,165 area with the prior breakout zone. What else do we have? Most of the dot bombs, there was a fair amount that didn't, but there were a lot of dot coms that went bankrupt. Now Elon can mark our top. So I need something collectible from Tesla then. I need a Tesla collector's item. So let's see where we sit now. Dow, again, everything's same patterns right here. Dow, the key area I'm watching, that's almost, let's see. That's crappy. Almost tradable, but not really as a double. So I'm just watching the key support coming in about 31,500. If we break below there, it's similar to the other running into the clear path move all the way down to 31,052. Let's just get through some of these quickly. The Russell, interesting enough, closed above the channel and above the 62.5. So next target, we could see a little more upside in the Russell, but my next target is 1850. And support now coming in roughly at 1800. How did I come up with 1800? You have this key close, which was a gap fill. And then you have that key close that reiterated it. And then the move away from it. So that is a minor significant level. DAX, by the way, coming up, unless you front ran the pattern, that was a hard one to get into. I mean, this closed right at it if you did, but if you were waiting for the daily, this closed right at it, pulled back to the 4-hour rotation zone, and then launched up to the first target. If you didn't get in on that little bar, it was just chasing it. Other than that, reacting a first reaction to the 50. So it's a raise the stop. Raise the stop. Just going through this, people for trying to learn. Stop would be on a closing basis below about 12,777, and on a trade through basis 12,672. If you wanted to crowd it a bit, you'd be at about 12,900. But still, we should still see, we got the first reaction off the 50, so I'm going to at least watch for a retest of that area. Crude, pausing, inside bar today, still with the double pattern. We got the some of those build numbers, though, and then it just sold off quickly, but bounced up. There's actually a fair amount of buying pressure still coming in on crude, so still watching for this 102, and then my next major target before the end of the double target is this 103 with the declining rotation zone. I saw Chris, let's see, Natty Gas, we had the comments earlier. Natty Gas triggered that head and shoulders first, and it hit the second target today, and the 62.5 harmonic. And this is where I will make adjustments to stuff. And why? Was this an adjust one? Because you see a spike high from before at the 62.5, and we have the 62.5 right in from that target, and it spiked high there again. That's pretty significant. Do not ignore the 62.5 level. So that's crunching in the last little target for that, but I'll leave him on here for the time being. We had Christoph with HG at a 1 hour double top triggered, could turn into a larger 4 hour daily double top. Which rotation zones out of the way, we'll post on Discord. Thank you. Again, if you aren't a member of Discord, it's a one-time $10 fee. And people like Christoph posts things in there that even if you don't trade copper futures, You can learn. This was actually this bar triggered it, and then you're rolling back down. Your targets, it would be first and second targets on that because the third one's in the wick. You can use that as a very light target. But then this is what Christoph's talking about with the next potential bigger target. And it would be first and second targets again. So that's what we're seeing against the daily rotation zone. So this might be another roll down to put in a more stable bottom. This was not a stable bottoming pattern. We do not have a stable long-term bottom pattern, especially with daily cycles getting to the top. So I'd definitely be watching that. Again, this is, even if you don't trade it, learn. Nothing much going on in the 10-year notes. Either break down below 117.18 or break out above 118.30. Other than that, it's sit on hands, at least from my perspective. Dollar index catching on the bottom of the rotation zone. So now we have the next. If we do break down from there, not even going there. I'm going to this. I'll have to look for a shorter-term significant level down there, but that would be possible pullback. If we start breaking below about 106.20, I'm targeting 105.34. And at this point, to start gauging if we're into a topping pattern, I'm going to put the harmonics on there and watch to see if we roll over 50 to 62.5. By the way, if it closes above the high from yesterday, tomorrow, it is an aggressive buy for a rotation back up and a percent beat buy with cycles at the daily bottom. VIX breaking down into here, breaking down below that 24, but bouncing back and pretty much didn't like that bounce back at the end of the day. But if we start rolling over again, we don't have many stopping points until you get down here. So then I'll keep targeting for some more upside. Where else do we sit? Bitcoin, again, this is what we're talking about. Still with that little pullback move, really watching where it closes in relation to that 50 and the channel. Another way, those targets are no longer valid. If it does support up here and you get the continued push up, it's 25, and then next target is 26, and I'll be watching for a rollover play up in there. Buy one of the flamethrowers. That would mean I'm giving my money to Elon. I guess I could buy one used. No, you can use any time frame for the doubles. Just remember the higher time frames are slightly more reliable than the lowers. But we trade 5 minutes. I would not recommend 1 minute doubles. And on the shorter time frames, a lot of times you'll have to trade the breaks instead of waiting for the closes. So they're a little more challenging. Do we have a clear ride to 129 on Amazon? Then I'll get through some other charts. Remind me of what I need to look at. I've got on sidetracks. Your next target on Amazon is this gap fill. The gap fill is 124.70, 124.79, and then I target the harmonic. You don't have a clear ride to 129. We should be able to hit that gap fill, though, in the 87.5 since it closed above that 62.5. So statistically, that's where you sit. Cycles are at the top, so I'd be a little cautious, but you could still get a couple-day push up into that, even if we get a pausing day tomorrow. We had Alcoa, that double worked out from before. Alcoa up after hours. Let's just see. So your trigger on that is 46.73 during a day session. It looks like it's confirmed after hours, not confirmed on the day session. And that's above the rotation zone. So, but against the weekly rotation zone, let me just see what the targets. And oh gee, see, this is see. That's almost not going to qualify because of this. If any, I would not actually play that as a double based off these targets because they're cutting through the wicks here. And we're against the weekly rotation zone. I'd just play it to the end of the clear path move if you were looking to play that. I wouldn't use that as a double. Why not? You can buy the teal as long as it doesn't go to Elon. I don't need to make him any richer. Which index will recover first from the crash? S&P 500, NASDAQ, or Russell? The Russell generally starts outperforming. And we don't have to have a crash. Remember, you don't have to have a crash in a bear market. But the Russell, small caps generally start outperforming. And then you get the mid caps and techs. So I generally start watching Russell for a turning point first, unless the Fed starts rapidly cutting. If the Fed starts rapidly cutting, then I'll pay attention to techs. UNG. Well, UNG hit its double target. I have to update this now. So, and it nearly did to the fill to the open and the breakdown zone. But the next target, if you're still playing UNG to the upside and didn't unwind with the full targets hit from that double, your next target, it's getting a little overextended with cycles at the top. So I would be, if you're already long and you didn't take it off the double, I'd be moving up stops aggressively from my perspective. Again, don't know your account, don't know the trade you're in. The next target, though, if it does pull back and gets another rotation back up, because that would be a new rotation entry, would be this key close on this gap. So that would be 29.41. Now, the problem is you start hitting stopping points. And this is where it gets interesting because of this prior major top pattern. Because this was that double topping pattern. But that's where you keep... That's where it is to the upside. On the pullback level, based off of this, your minor, if you're trying to be super aggressive, would be at the 12.5% harmonic, 26.20. Major would be this area. On a major pullback, I'd start watching here. Maybe even slightly lower. With that, I'd go to maybe this. Yeah, that's where I'd use it. 25.45 with the rising 4-hour rotation zone. So that's that. Oh, sorry, that was a head and shoulders actually on that one. It wasn't a double. Apple seems to have broken out of its 150 resistance. Yeah, the problem with Apple is why I'm not super aggressive on this right now is because you have the 50% retracement from this down move and you have the 200 simple right there and you have this major breakdown zone. So even if it gets above the 200, I'm watching for another rollover play. So this move is pretty much over from my book. Even on a pullback, you know, there might be a minor pullback play to this 150-50 area and then another rotation back up, but I'd be watching for a pretty significant topping pattern up here. Especially with, that's the 200 on the 4-hour. The 200 on the daily is just above here. So if it does make another run, that's the only other target I have higher. When are Apple, or I forgot when Apple earnings are. They are the 28th. So they are next week. So yeah, you could continue to get the run up until this 200, and then I'd watch for a topping pattern, especially with this overbought condition, and you actually have cycle divergences also. ARK officially triggered this double. It's a very sloppy double, but it's officially triggered. I'd be paying attention to this 52.50 target right with that key close in the breakdown zone. This is the kind of rally we're getting. By the way, this has some significance. See this key close, then the quick move away, close, little open and move away, that it slices through there, retests with a key close, and then rockets away. That is a significant level. So that's the next target I'd use for ARK, 52.29. Apple would be a weekly double bottom. Looks like it. Yeah, looks like a weekly. Let's see. Yep. I'd trigger it on a weekly basis, though. Not on a daily basis. So let's see where that week closes. Especially with weekly cycles being at the top. That is a interesting, nearly a rising wedge pattern. We don't cover a lot of wedges here, but that is technically, we don't have the final, I need the, because this isn't a redraw yet, but this would be, if we got the top end, does anybody know how to trade a wedge pattern? So this is a wedge pattern. You need a move, a pullback, and then a push up like this. And then what you want to do, this is properly drawn. The top is not a redraw yet. We might get a redraw, so that line might redraw. But then what you want to do is